of my poems are about my identity. So as a woman, as a black woman, as an African in a non-African country, as a creative, as a scientist, like it's everything. Then we did the Shakespeare unit, and she was like, you're also really good on stage, very confident. And I performed in open mic nights just all over Melbourne. Yeah, it's just the idea that we are limitless, just like the sky, and just beautiful. And then of course I had to keep our Afro.
Of course.
Of course. Growing up as an African with African parents, there is that expectation to keep up your stable career. I think I was so headstrong. I knew what I wanted to do. There's just one thing to me, right, especially being a Christian. I'm very conscious of things like the soul and life experiences, and then you get into things like your memory and your conscience, and like that's sort of the spiritual side, but it really drew me to the fact that there is this thing in our heads that does so much.
And welcome back to Building Legacy with Nachie podcast. So this is a podcast where we deep dive into conversations with African Australians right here in the diaspora. We celebrate their stories, we share their stories, and we learn about their inspiring journeys and how we can motivate ourselves and the tips we can learn from their stories and apply it into our lives. On today's episode, I am so excited today. I am honored to be joined here by one of the dear friends that I recently made through her brother. Thanks, Peter. But you're beside now. It's me and my girl, Pearl. So she's in the person of Pearl Muzariri. Please help me clap for her. You're so welcome, Pearl. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
It is an honor to have you here. I will get into telling you what Pearl is about and why I'm so excited to be having this conversation with her today. So Pearl comes from a medical background. She's the first person that when I asked her why she went into that field, she told me she was kind of passionate about the complexity of the brain. Can you imagine? I was like, brain. Okay. What's with brain? But anyway, she told me that she's drawn to the complexity and the wonder and the working of the brain. So she's gone ahead to build a profession around neurology.
Yeah.
Yes, and specializing in children. So paediatric neurology. So from clinical neurology as well, because you've got experience in that at Monash Health, to pediatric neuroscience at the Royal Children's Hospital. Very recently, which was just last year, Pearl has launched her own NDIS support service. So it's called the Starshine Support Services. Please don't ask me what her age is. Yes. She and her brother, I don't know, they came from the womb they came from, said they just have to be founders and business women. So yeah, Pearl went ahead she has launched the business in 2024 and it's doing so well, it's thriving, and we love to see our African people thrive. Yes. When Pearl is not working with the NDIS support service, she is a poet. And she's a painter. I've got some of her work here. I can't wait to show you what she's done so far. She is amazing. Thank goodness I've got to purchase 2 of my artwork with Pearl before she starts charging the millions. So we'll show you some of her work, and if you're interested, at the end of the show, Pearl will give us how you can contact her to make your own purchases. She does customizable artworks and everything. She's also the director at Bantu Consulting, which I think you do with your brother, with Peter.
Exactly.
So, mouthful, I know. Pearl and Peter, when I met them, I'm like, okay, what do you guys want to achieve in this world? But it's good. We love it. We love to see it. So once again, thank you so much, Pearl, for coming. I am so... When I met you, I thought you were like 30 something with everything you've done, but are you comfortable to share your age?
Yeah, I'm 26.
She made me feel like a big sister, old sister.
Well,
it's okay.
Just sister.
Welcome once again, Pearl.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I feel good. I like the environment. Your vibe's always good. So
Thank you so much. So we start with a question I start with my guest with.
Mm-hmm.
What does legacy mean to you?
Legacy to me means stories. So I feel like legacy are the stories you leave behind when you go, the memories, the experiences, the lessons. And I think that no matter what you do, who you are, where you come from, you leave a little piece of you every time you are in a new environment, you meet new people. And when you go, and we all end up going eventually, that stays behind. And that's your legacy.
So what kind of legacy do you want to leave in this space? Because you're in medical field, you're in support services, you're in painting, spoken word.
Yeah. Honestly, my biggest thing is I just want anyone who encounters me or anything that I've done to feel something. So whether that's supported or confronted, sometimes with my art it is a little bit confronting. But yeah, as long as you feel, I feel like I've done a good job and I've left my legacy.
Oh. Let's go to Pearl, young Pearl. Where did this all start from? Where did young Pearl grow up? Tell us a bit more about yourself.
Okay, so I was born in Zimbabwe.
Okay, Zimbabwe.
Yes, Southern Africa.
Yeah.
And I moved to New Zealand when I was 4, and my parents were in New Zealand, so me and my brother, we both came. And then I came to Australia when I was 18. So I moved here for university.
All right.
And I've been here 6 years now.
So did you know anyone in Australia before you moved?
I have friends who had moved from New Zealand prior.
Okay.
And Mum lives in the Northern Territory, so
Okay.
yeah. But in Melbourne, no. It was a new place, new space, new people.
So what brought you to Melbourne? Had you been here before prior to coming to settle?
Yeah,
Okay.
so we did, because Mum was in Alice Springs for a few years, we did travel around Australia, and honestly, I just fell in love with Melbourne. I think it reminds me of a giant Auckland. Everybody disagrees and they think this is more Wellington, but this is Auckland to me, and that's where I grew up. So yeah, felt like home.
Nice. So you 4 years. Do you remember anything in Zimbabwe? Do you go back often? How does that begin with the story?
So when I was 8, that was the first time we went back.
Okay.
And since then we've been going back every about 2 years.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so pretty regular. So I didn't remember much of Zim before then, but recently, been making memories, and almost every second Christmas we go, spend time with family, and parties. December in Africa is different. It's different.
Tell me about it, girl.
Yeah. So it's always really good. Yeah.
Nice. So in Auckland, growing up in Auckland, what are some of the things that led to where you're at now? What are some of the things that stood out to you in childhood that has brought you, held you up through this journey?
Well, honestly, I think being raised in New Zealand is just a totally different environment to anywhere that I've been. And I think New Zealand produces some really grounded, calm kids. And maybe it's because it's an island nation. Everybody's relaxed and calm. We're on our own time. But it's just, it's
not as busy as...
Not at all. It's not fast paced. It's nothing like that. So when I came here, I was like, oh my goodness. But yeah, it's just such lovely, good-hearted people come from New Zealand. And I think in terms of schooling, and what brought me here is I had my 2 streams. So I always wanted to do something medical. There are a few medical women in our family and scientists. So yeah, just being around that influence is quite inspiring. And when I got to high school, that's the age of deciding, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I had gotten to the point where I had all of these, they call them the big 5. So it was advanced maths, science, advanced science, English, And so there were all these boring subjects. And
you need to pass those.
Yeah, we do. But my guidance counselor was like, maybe you should have something fun, some balance in there. So I made sure to keep the art side going.
Nice.
So in English, my teacher suggested that I compete and because she always felt I was a loud, outspoken, good speaker. So she was
wow.
like, yeah. She
I
was
think
like,
you mentioned that you were a tomboy as well.
yeah, very much. Very much a tomboy, very opinionated, very confident. So she was like, yeah, channel that energy and put it into something creative. And she pointed me towards spoken word. Yeah.
How old were you at the time?
16.
16.
Yeah, so
10 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
10 years ago, 2015, spoken word. Okay, that was coming up. Okay.
Yeah. So there was a national competition in New Zealand, and that year there was a team of 4 of us. We won, and then we got to compete in Australia in Sydney.
So before that, had you heard about spoken word before?
No.
Had you done? Oh wow.
Never. That was my first introduction to it. It was purely a competition. She said, just write what you feel and audition, and I did it. It was.
What did she see in you? What do you think she saw in you? Like, were you, aside from being outspoken and confident and speaking your mind, were you like a really good storyteller? And did you like, what did she see? What do you?
So a few things. She really enjoyed reading my essays. Yeah. So she used to read them and just thought, these aren't your stock standard, 3-page essays about what you've seen. We were studying movies at the time. And then we did the Shakespeare unit, and she was like, you're also really good on stage, very confident. And then I think it got to the creative writing section, and she just loved it. She loved whatever I wrote, and she was like, I really think you should try this avenue because it combines everything that you are good at in English.
Yeah. It's writing, it's poetry, and then it's your confidence and the boldness.
Performing.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Thank you, teacher. What's her name? Do you remember?
Mrs. Mead. Oh,
Mrs. Mead.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for bringing out the star and shyness in Pearl.
She was just so lovely, so supportive.
That's so good. The importance of role models and having people that believe in you right from the get-go. Sweet. So tell us, from the competition, what happened from there?
So from there, it was the first time that they'd done anything that crossed the Tasman, so Australia and New Zealand.
Okay.
And so we ended up getting the opportunity to record some poems with Red Bull Studios. And they were like, first time ever in New Zealand, like, this is cool, let's do it. So you could actually find a couple of my poems in the Red Bull archives in New Zealand.
Wow.
And then from there people would ask me to perform at events, all different types of church, birthdays, weddings.
Spoken word,
yeah. And it was just lovely, and community events, and I also did a poem for Anzac Day as well. Yeah.
In Australia or
New Zealand.
Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of that, and then coming here, I performed in open mic nights just all over Melbourne, and then I competed and was a finalist in the National Youth Poetry Slam, which was a really cool opportunity. They flew us out to Sydney. It was awesome. And then other competitions at Monash when I was in uni, and just submitting things that I write, in my free time, and just getting prizes and money from that. So I've just tried to keep it going.
What are your writings about, and how are you inspired to write? What inspires you?
So I'm inspired, honestly, just by daily life. I think a lot of what I write, it comes from how I experience people that I come across. And when I come across people who are just different and vibrant, I like to write about them, and I like to write about their experience, what they've talked about. And I've noticed that quite a lot of it sort of inspires my own journey for me to look inward and reflect, and that also comes out because a lot of my poems are about my identity. So as a woman, as a Black woman, as an African in a non-African country, as a creative, as a scientist, like, it's everything.
Tell me about that part. How was it like as a Black woman, a young Black woman in that space coming up? How was it like? How were you received?
Yeah, so it was interesting. I think there was an expectation of who I was going to be, and I think that's coming from everyone in sort of that poetry space. Okay. Yeah, and I think that's because spoken word, when we were starting it, was very popular in America. And the sort of, not stigma, but the ambiance around being a black woman in spoken word was that strong, opinionated black rights voice. And I think that's maybe what audiences expected of me. And I came out with a bit more of a gentle tone and a bit more, and I think, just looking at the reactions of the judges and the crowds, and it was very positive, but they were like, oh, we didn't expect that.
Because you come out as like fiery, bold, like your hair and everything. Yeah. And but you said, when you open your mouth, I'm like, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, so it is mixed reactions, but surprise and positive.
Nice. So let's go back to the story. Spoken word, medical field. How did you combine those two? Did you even think it was possible? Or when you found out that you were good in spoken word, did it come to mind that maybe I should just focus on that and not the medical science? Or did you feel that you could actually incorporate the two?
Well, honestly, I think growing up as an African with African parents, there is that expectation to keep up your stable career. So the boring job.
What do you want to do? Spoken word.
Exactly. They would look at me like poetry for the rest of your life. So, I mean, they were super supportive, but they were very supportive of it as a hobby, as a side thing. So I honestly, getting into it, I didn't ever really think I'd match the two up. I always sort of treated them separately. Okay. It's not until recently, in my older years, that I'm now sort of thinking, oh, well, art, honestly, and you can create a message and have a positive impact in the medical world as well through your art.
Especially with children, the kind of work you're doing.
Yeah.
Did you ever incorporate such work with the children you worked with, like maybe arts shows and stuff?
Honestly, I think not enough, and I think if the opportunity arises, I absolutely would. But one thing that the kids have loved is what I do with my hair. I think that I like to be quite creative and artistic, and when I have braids and all the colors and the beads, you see these toddlers going, oh my goodness, what is this? And it just, it's a nice way to sort of keep that artistic piece of myself as I work. And, you'll get the parents that are like, oh, the scientist with the braids, with the hair. And
like it's unique. You're able to be differentiated amongst the rest.
Absolutely.
Okay, now tell me about the painting. How did that also come? Oh my gosh, you're just too much.
You flattered me. Thank you.
How did that come about? And how did you find out that, okay, I'm good? And at what stage did you start painting?
I was actually recently looking through some of my mum's kept all the folders of, when I was little.
They're really good at that.
Yeah, right.
I think they just go through them to satisfy themselves. Yeah. I've done a great job.
Exactly. Yeah. And you can, as far back as you look, I've always liked drawing and anything artistic. And I used to take art classes when I was younger with my childhood best friend. Okay. And so I think it's been all my life that I've been doing some form of physical art. And it's not till I got to high school again, finding my balance, that I chose to do photography and painting as art subjects in school. And honestly, it was the first time I was being graded for my work, and that kind of lit a fire in me to be like, I can do this. Yeah.
It sounds like high school brought out the real Pearl.
Yeah.
What did that look like? From 16, was it 16? You started all of those things?
Yeah.
What did that look like, and were you in a limbo? Because I know high school can be tough, because you're finding out things that you're good at. You're hearing teachers tell you, you're good at this, you're good at this, choose this, do the subject, don't do the subject, choose this course in uni, do this. But then, so you loved science, you loved maths, you loved the boring stuff, and you loved art as well.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see your thought process. Were you in limbo as to where to go career-wise, or you actually knew that this is what I want to do? I want to be in neuroscience, and these things I love, but I'll do them on the side.
Yeah, I think I was so headstrong. I knew what I wanted to do. I absolutely knew. I'd always in my head had this idea of being a doctor. Sometimes it wavered. I had, I don't know if anybody remembers That's So Raven, but there was a time I wanted to be a fashion designer so bad. I even wrote a speech about it. I think I was 13, and I was like, this is what I'm going to do. But honestly, from about age 16, I was set that it would be something medical. And it wasn't until 18 that I was like, the brain, 100%. But the art is something that I knew I had to keep because I loved it. It mellowed me out. It was a good outlet. Like, it was just, good for the soul.
We'll come to the brain aspect, the interesting part. But I want to show our audience some of your artworks.
Okay.
Let me start with the two that I've purchased. Don't be jealous. If you want some, Pearl can replicate some for you. It won't be as beautiful as mine, maybe more beautiful. I still love mine. Look at this. And you talked me through the ads. Maybe let me bring his sister so she doesn't feel lonely. So these two artworks are actually sisters.
Yeah, they
so this is sunrise. Oh my gosh. I don't know what. Yep, show them, give them.
Yeah.
So this is sunrise and this is sunset. Please talk us through.
So they're called The Dreamer.
Okay.
And honestly, I think they came from this book I was reading, and it's called Strange the Dreamer. And
Strange the Dreamer.
Yeah, such a good book. I recommend it. Especially if you've got, late teens, early 20s. Beautiful self-discovery book. Amazing. And basically, like, in it there are these gods and goddesses that some of them they all look completely different, but some of them sounded to me like black people. And I just thought, oh, and the way they were described, they could move gold and form it and shape it, and it was just so inspiring. And this was sort of me essentially putting a little piece of us in that story and bringing it out in painting. And so these two sisters, they represent this dream state. So this infinite possibility where you can honestly be anything and everything. And that's why I've made their hair look like the sunrise and the sunset. It's just the idea that we are limitless, just like the sky, and just beautiful. And then of course I had to keep our afro.
Of course.
You know me.
I feel like this is such your personality. I saw the painting, I'm like, ooh, this is you, girl.
Yeah.
I feel like you were trying to draw yourself.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, and that's what my paintings are about. Just the African experience and just us and how beautiful we are, how vast we are, and I want to reflect that in everything I paint.
Let's get the third painting.
Oh, yes.
Let me keep my babies. Keep my babies. Like I said, you can order yours.
Yeah, absolutely. I do request as well. So this one, I think she's upside down. Let me put it that way. No, that's okay.
Yeah, let the artist.
This one is called What Listening to Afrobeats Looks Like. And the whole idea is that this is a thought bubble, like in cartoons, you've got that little boop boop and then a big thought bubble. And I put on my favorite playlist on Spotify, and it's got this big range of African artists from all over. So Cape to Cove, is it? I think. Yeah. The whole of Africa. And basically I was just listening to a mix of African artists, and I just drew what came to mind as I listened to them. And and the closer you look, I feel like you find something new every time.
Yeah, I think I can see trees.
Yeah.
And clouds.
Yeah.
And birds.
So that reminded me of like the safaris and
Yep. As soon as I see that, that's what comes to mind as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then I'm trying to find something else. I can see artwork like some of the artworks you find in the western part of Africa.
Exactly.
Yep. And I'm trying to. There's even a bit of like Aboriginal in there.
Yeah.
So it's like every black person you can find yourself in here.
Exactly. Yeah. The dots definitely had that Aboriginal little tip your hat to it, because it's Australia.
Of course. I love this artwork so much.
Yeah, and some of the patterns are from traditional materials that we have down south.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So like some bridal patterns and some event patterns, things you'd wear to different places.
Have you ever got this? Do you know the kente fabric?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it would be something you can create. Something
Absolutely.
beautiful.
Yeah, I do have another artwork that I didn't bring, unfortunately, but yeah.
It
I do
represents
feature-
the kente.
Yeah.
Maybe, oh, was it
The big one.
Oh,
Yeah.
with the four
panel.
ladies.
I forgot it.
Oh no, that is a masterpiece.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
That is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Maybe you can send me a photo and we attach it somewhere
Absolutely.
in the video. That is a
Yeah.
masterpiece.
Yeah.
Maybe you can take, because there are different types of the kente fabric.
Yeah.
They have different meanings
Yeah.
as well. I would say most of our fabrics in Ghana have different meanings. Some happy, some sad, some are used for funerals, some weddings and whatever.
Yeah.
And you can probably create something like maybe a room. That's my request. We'll talk
Okay.
about that after. But let's go to the brain now. The brain.
The brain.
What?
I know.
Brain.
Everyone looks at me funny when I say I love the brain. They're like, why?
Yeah, tell me about the brain. I was fascinated when you told me that's why you went to Neuro.
Yeah.
Tell us.
Honestly, I just think it's so cool. Like, I sat there and I was thinking, what am I going to do in my life? And, you know, in any field of medicine, you have to specialize. You can't just decide, I'm going to do everything. So I was sitting there and I was thinking, and, you know, I was thinking about how there's just one thing to me, right, especially being a Christian. I'm very conscious of things like the soul and life experiences, and then you get into things like your memory and your conscience, and like that's sort of the spiritual side, but it really drew me to the fact that there is this thing in our heads that does so much.
Yep.
Like how? And I was thinking, oh, you know, I read a lot, so I used to read up on it and try and figure it out. Then I just realized, you know what? I want to know everything there is to know about the brain. Yeah, that's my challenge. And I'm going to do it.
And how has it been going so far?
Crazy, but so good. Like, no regrets. This was definitely the right specialty for me. And I think it was such a simple prompt that caused me to go in this direction, but like, it's perfect for me, I think. And also, there's this taboo, you know, as Africans when it comes to the brain or issues with the brain. And I don't want to speak for the whole continent, but for us, definitely. And I kind of just wanted to bring a respect and a reverence back towards the brain. And I want to try and do that through my work, to be like, you know, something might be wrong, but it's not something we can't discuss. It shouldn't be so taboo, and it shouldn't be so ostracized when someone has an issue, you know, mental health, even structural. People need the support.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to do that too.
I love the way you sort of fuse soul and art. Even in the middle, you're talking about it like it's some art.
But it kind of is,
It
right?
is actually.
Yeah.
So I know you specialize then in pediatric. What led you to go more into children?
I think it was on the job. So I've always liked kids and being around kids, and I think, you know, kids are the future.
You're the last child.
I am.
So
I'm the baby.
You're the baby.
So maybe that's why.
So you wanted more babies.
Exactly. I said, I feel you.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, and when I was looking at, you know, because when I trained at Monash Health, you do both.
Okay.
So you have to learn adults because they're easier to figure out, and then you learn pediatrics. And once I got to pediatrics, I was like, oh, this is me. This is me 100%. So I just stuck to it.
What are some of the nuances and some of the challenges and complexities when it comes to working with children in terms of brain?
So I think when it comes to the actual brain itself and encountering the different issues that come up, kids' brains are just a little bit more complicated in that they are, because they're still developing, they change so much. That's the neuroplasticity that they talk about. So there's still a lot going on, and even when you're, you know, part of my job is reading the brain waves or the squiggles on the screen.
Squiggles?
Yeah. They look like squiggles.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, they're the brain waves, and when you look at a child versus an adult, there are pretty clear defined waves for adults, and for kids, especially, you know, little babies, it looks a bit more disorganized. There is always a pattern, but it does, just upon first glance, it looks so chaotic and complicated, and as you get used to it, you see, oh, okay, I know the patterns, I understand the forms. And then there's the outside of the brain, so the actual, the environment. With adults, you can have that conversation and ask them questions, With kids, they might not want to sit through a test. They might want to sing the Wiggles today and go for a walk.
So how do you manage all of that? So are you like trying to do all of this while playing with them, while going on breaks with them? It looks like a game to them, but you know what you're getting out of it.
Exactly, yeah. So you essentially try your best to calm them. I mean, usually there's a TV, so you'll play something, some music or something that the parents might do for them at home. Usually there is a parent in the room, so that makes it much easier when managing. And there are fun aspects to the test, like these flashing lights, and sometimes they'll get sleepy as well, and we like to encourage sleep, so that's also part of it, and it helps, and it makes it a lot easier. So I haven't had many situations where it was difficult, which I've been blessed, because our experiences can be different.
I think you do well with kids. Even the way you talk, I feel like your voice is very soothing, and you did choose the right career.
Oh, thank you.
Specialty in medical field. I want us to go now into mentorship. Like in your journey, has there been anyone that has touched you or directed you or led you onto the right path, even though you knew this is what I wanted from a very young age? You knew I want to go into medical field alongside and have the ads on the side. Has there been anyone that has supported, including your mom, that has like supported that journey?
I think honestly, Mum's been a huge supporter, a big influence, and she we used to have this running joke. She's not really the science maths type. She's a history English, that's her thing. And when I used to be like, oh, I want to do calculus and I want to do chemistry, and she would look at me like, what? Okay, but do you? And she might not have understood my work, but she was always like, you can do it, I know you can. And so she's been supportive since day one. Same with Dad. He's a lot more like, you're smart.
I wouldn't. You have to be smart.
Exactly, yeah. So like they were so supportive, and of course Peter, like he might not admit it, but he thinks I'm pretty brilliant.
No, Peter does believe you. Yeah. Maybe not to your face, so you don't get big head.
Exactly. But it's okay, I know.
So your mom, and then in terms of academic, was there any mentors that?
Yeah, so academics, I think that I just encountered some pretty strong women as I went along. And I think a big player was my boss at Royal Children's. So her name is Dr. Catherine Howe, and she is honestly probably one of the smartest people that I've ever met.
Shout out to you, Dr.
Yeah, she is so cool, and I think it was a beautiful thing meeting her, because I was so young at that point that I met her. I was 21 or 22, and she was like, yep, I'm going to get you on the team, and you're going to help me out with this research project, and we're going to utilize your skill set. And mind you, I didn't know anyone my age who was doing anything like that. So it was such a cool opportunity.
Especially in your class.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, like, and seeing her, she was a big boss. She was doing all these things. She's a mum as well. Like, it was just so inspiring to be like, you can do it all. And you can kill it at everything. So, yeah, I think it just, she did play a really key part. Yeah. Absolutely.
And what are those things you saw in you? Because, like you're saying, you didn't find so many people like us there, but then she also probably saw something in you and decided that I'm going to harness that. I'm going to help bring this out. What do you think are those things you played for her to choose to support you?
Honestly, I'd like to think that
give yourself some credit, girl.
Should I know. But I think it's that unique skill set. So with neurophysiology, there aren't many scientists in the field at all. And it's, by state as well, there's just not many whatsoever. So when you have one who comes in and wants to do research, because a lot of us stay clinical, I think it is a unique opportunity, and especially if you have one who's done it for a while. And and I think she also saw the passion and the personality that you do need when it comes to creating a research team, because you've got all these different people from different areas in medicine that are coming together and they're doing these projects together. So you want people who gel together. And I loved my team. Oh my gosh, they were all so amazing. So yeah.
Do you plan to go further in studies in terms of doing your master's or PhD?
Yeah, so I have been considering, and I'm sort of exploring my options, because I really did love the surgical aspect of the job, and I think I want to get into that a bit more.
I have two questions in my head. I'm trying to figure out which one to go first. So one is about the NDIS, but one is about community. Let's do community, because you were explaining the importance of the brain and the child's brain, and that stigma that our community has around issues with the brain, mental health. What role have you played, or would you like to play in that space in terms of educating our community, especially when it comes to the kids side?
Yeah. I think I would love to be the bridge for that gap. I think there is a generational divide where our parents and our grandparents, they didn't grow up talking about these things. They grew up thinking, this is something that is frowned upon if you have an issue with your brain. Whereas our generation and the ones coming are a lot more open to it, especially those of us who've experienced the Western world. We're coming in and we're like, no, it's good to talk about your mental health, and it's good to talk about the issues you're going through. And I think what I want to do is to make sure that both sides feel represented and no one's experience is diminished, because that's how you end a conversation, is you sit there and you go, I'm right, you're wrong. So I'm hoping that through everything I do, through the art, through the NDIS, through the scientist work, that I can show everybody that, look, an African is openly talking about it, and it's okay. And it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you or us, or, it doesn't mean that we have problems. It just means life is happening. We just treat it and we keep it pushing.
Whatever you do in that space, count me in. Happy to support.
Thank
honestly.
you. Yeah.
Then let's go to NDIS. So how long did you practice as a neuroscience?
About 4 years. Almost 4 years.
Okay, almost 4 years. So what led to that shift to this NDIS? And tell us a bit more about your NDIS company before you.
Yeah. So Starshine Support Services. We're based in Melbourne, and we currently operate in Victoria, Northern Territory, and Queensland.
That's right.
Yeah. And we're open to clients all over. We have a policy where I'll go and meet everybody and just make sure that they see that there's a face behind the name and you're not just a number, because we are about the community. And so we're open to anybody from all walks of life, but we do make sure that when we come across an African that might need that extra culturally sensitive support, that we give them that space, we give them that patience, we walk them through it, and then make sure that they're not just being thrown in. And
sweet.
Yeah,
we need people in that space, so
absolutely.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
Then my next question is, why did you choose to move from neuroscientist, like you were enjoying your pediatric neuropsych is it neuroscience or neuropsychology? Neuroscience. Why that shift?
So honestly, it wasn't that big of a shift. It sort of led well into it. So I know for sure with the plans and the things that I'd like to do in life, I had to take a step forward and start a career, a business for myself that was advocating for what I was advocating for. And the opportunity to do that, I felt, was an NDIS. And so my thinking was, after experiencing so many families who were struggling with the NDIS journey, I had quite a few parents who would, have a chat and be like, we're struggling with the journey. I feel as though we want someone who can understand what our child is going through, what their needs are, someone specialized who can then help us walk through and navigate NDIS. So we feel like we have that voice that is knowledgeable. And after doing some research, I realized that I don't think I've come across anybody with my qualification doing NDIS.
Especially in our community.
Exactly.
So with Starshine, do you focus more on the children?
Yeah, so we have a child focus. We are absolutely open to anybody. But yeah, the child focus being that I'm experienced in supporting parents supporting their child as well.
Yeah. Amazing. What's your long-term vision in terms of your career as a whole, Starshine and everything?
I think that long term, I'd just like to get more active in the community work. So I am also mentoring African youth on the side, and I think I just want to use Starshine as that first base to be like, if there is something, you can get help from the government. And whilst it's restricted to Australia, I'm hoping to sort of take that knowledge and then pull it back and take it home as well. And I would absolutely continue with Starshine in Australia and make sure everybody has a voice here. But if there's a way to take that framework, take it back home and, you know, convince our governments to be like, this is support we need as well, then I would love to do something with that.
You're sounding like your brother. But I love that about you guys. Like, you didn't really grow up in Africa, but when I speak to Peter, he's so passionate about the African continent. He's so passionate about doing business there, and I'm hearing that from you as well. Where from that passion?
I mean, honestly, like, it's home. I think that's the bottom line. I think, yes, New Zealand and Australia are home too, but I am an African. That's my identity, and if we're gonna acquire all these skills, then why not also use them to help our people? Because we need it. There's a lot going on. Whenever you walk through any African country, it all looks the same. We're all going through the same thing. So I figured if I can help, then why not? Yeah.
So what kind of, is that long-term, or is it short-term, medium-term?
I think that's long-term. What that would look like though is, I guess it's something that I'll be forming as I go. I'm sort of assessing the needs of the community, and the more time that I spend back home, then I'll be able to have an eye and actually talk to people and see what they're going through, see what they need, and then I can fill in those gaps.
Yeah, it's always important to go back to the people.
Exactly.
Because sometimes they have solutions, but they are not aware of the steps or don't have access to the resources.
Exactly.
Stuff. Do you think our leadership would be open? They are ready for?
I don't know. With what's going on in the top half, I'm not sure that they are kind of currently ready. But I do think that with time, absolutely. And I think right now is a good time to be having conversations, to just see, you know, feel and see if they're open to it, if it's something that's on the cards. Because I do think at the end of the day, it'll help us all. It'll benefit us all.
Yeah, absolutely. Networking, you said you are currently mentoring some African. What's the name of the organization?
So it's Build to Lead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they support African youth who have maybe gone through the justice system and just need that support coming back into the community.
Oh, amazing.
And so, yeah.
How long have you done that for?
Not long at all, just a few months. I started this year.
Nice.
Yeah, and I'm looking for more opportunities like that so I can, just help out.
Sweet. Hats off to you.
Thank you.
No, you're an inspiration. You and Peter, such an inspiration and motivation to the African community here, right here in Australia, especially given that you're both young, but you're not sitting there waiting for permission to do the things you're doing. Like, you've given yourself permission, you've created tables for yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you're not waiting for anyone. And that's what I love about the two of you. Thank you so much for being who you are. And thank you to your mom.
Yeah.
Because I'm hearing Peter kept saying, Mom.
Yeah.
Mom,
but a big thank you also goes to my grandma. She has passed, but I think she is a massive inspiration. She is one of those people who, just like you said, you can't wait for someone to give you a seat. You just have to go and make your own space. And she grew up in Africa in a time when being a girl child was just, you weren't important and you were neglected. And she decided, well, I'm gonna look after me. And so she taught herself how to read and write. And she learned, you know, when my mum came home, she'd do her homework. She taught herself. And over the years, She doesn't even realize she didn't, but she was a feminist. She was a feminist before feminism was a thing. Oh my goodness. She was such a big advocate for the success of the girl child. And I think that's what pushed my mum to be who she is. And then my mum in turn was like, welcome to the club.
No, those women have done a great job, and I think you're continuing with that legacy.
Absolutely.
And I can't wait to see what your children will do after you. Amazing work.
Thank you.
If you look back, 10, 15, just try and calculate your age. 15 years back, what would you tell young Pearl? What would you, if we were to go back in time 15 years ago, what would you tell young Pearl, knowing what you know now?
Yeah.
And how far you've come?
Honestly, I would tell her, I would validate her. I would be like, you know what you're doing. Like, I think Pearl at that age, surprisingly, was onto it. She was unapologetic. She was so fierce. And I would be like, continue as is. I'd give her a hug, give her a high five, and be like, you got this.
At 11 years?
Yeah. She was, honestly. I think if you talk to anybody in my family, they'll tell you the same thing. I knew what I was doing.
At that age, what was Pearl doing?
What wasn't I doing? I think at that time I was forming my personality a lot more and steady with the art. I was into netball and tennis and basketball.
That
so
was
lots of
your
sports.
tomboy
Very
era.
much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I was just doing my best to just enjoy life. Yeah, and I think part of it came with performing and all these extracurriculars. I honestly, thinking about it, I don't know that I had the same 24 hours that I do now. But yeah, I was doing a lot, and she's super proud of her. Honestly, she set the groundwork. She didn't even know it.
You done, you young Pearl, Pearly Junior. And let's look now again. Let me calculate the age. All right, Pearl, in 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
Where would you like Pearl in 15 to 20 years? Where would you hope Pearl would be at that time?
Retired. By then, retired,
Soft life.
settled. Yes, exactly. But I think my retirement will be active. So all I want to retire from is having to think about working and to think about money,
Yeah.
And at that point, I just want to be stable enough to be able to do these community things without having to stress, oh my gosh, can I afford this? Do I have time off? Do I have to check in with somebody? And that's what I'm sort of trying to establish now, so that by then I can just be going around the world, around to our community, all over Africa, and just setting up little things and making sure we're all good. And and if it's even just going to schools and just talking to people and informing people, I'd be happy doing that.
I think you're on the right path. I think Pearl currently is on the right path to being that soft girly life, that community advocate.
Yeah.
Because we need more of that.
Absolutely.
We need more of the skilled and experienced people who have that lived experience.
Yeah.
I think you'd be an amazing community advocate in that space.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pearl.
Thank you for having me.
We could have gone on with this conversation, but this is not your first and last. This is just the first. You'll be coming back. You'll be coming back with a different hairstyle. Gonna blow my mind. But before we go, tell us, how can our audience connect with you? How can they order your own artwork?
Oh yes. So I'm currently setting up a artist website.
Nice.
So my artist name is Sapphire with 3 P's. So SAPPP.
PQ.
Okay. Exactly.
Yep.
PQ HIRE.
Yeah.
So I will have my LinkedIn. I've got Instagram and probably a TikTok. And you'll probably be able to find me everywhere.
So Sapphire with triple P.
Exactly.
Nice.
And just send me a message or an email, and then I can work with I can have original pieces done, or if somebody needs something with a color scheme or inspiration, then I can create that.
And you've seen Pearl's work. This is that work, that 4 gridded.
Yeah.
artwork. Next time you should bring it because
Okay.
that is a masterpiece. But thank you so much, Pearl. Thank you so much. You're just 26, but you have so much wisdom. You come with a wealth of wisdom, and I love that about you. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me. Honestly, this is great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Really, honestly, thank you. What would you say? I'll give you the chance. Final words. What would you say to our audience who are in a similar position as you? Have that art side, but then have this medical or this. Should I say the norm? What our African parents are? You have to be a doctor, lawyer, engineer,
Pilots.
pilot.
Yeah.
Cannot be a footballer, musician.
No.
What would you tell someone who is currently struggling in that space? Like they know they've got a passion for engineering, they've got a passion for STEM stuff, but they've also got this other side where they just love hair. When they touch your hair, even if you've got no hair, suddenly you'll get hair. What would you tell such persons?
I would tell them that the key is balance. I think it's always good to work with practical, and I know that's what our parents are stressing, and they mean well.
Yes.
But do trust yourself, because we are in a time where we know what's best and how to navigate. And have the balance where you have something stable, but do not give up your passions. And one thing I'm doing is I'm falling back in love with what I used to be in love with when I was younger. And that's just made everything work so much better for me. And so I would say balance, and also take the risk. Take the risk, because yes, it was a risk to leave work and start my own business. I did not have a plan B, and it was the right move for me. Of course, do your research. Don't just please don't just email your boss. Don't just email your boss, I'm done. Have a plan, please, and do your research and make sure the environment, the industry you're going into is the right one for you. But do it. If you love it, do it. Trust yourself.
Sweet. Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
And to you, my audience, thank you so much for sticking with us. I know and I hope and I believe that you've learned a thing or two from today's conversation. Can we all give it up for Pearl again?
Thank you.
So I am your host, Nana Abnature. I will see you next week with another incredible, remarkable African Australian coming your way. Stay blessed.